You're so cool. You are. You were just so cool. I've had 2 beers, so.
Oh, fantastic.
We'll get us started.
Beers.
There's another one over there I didn't start if you want it.
Oh, great.
Okay, so we'll give it to you.
Lovely iPhone.
So, Sally.
Are we doing an interview now?
Yeah, is that okay? Yeah. No, I love, this is my
That's
site.
great.
You know, it's just my site, and
How
people
cool
come to
are
it,
you?
and so everybody here, we're talking to Sally Hawkins, and she is exhausted from performing 8 performances a week on Broadway, Mrs. Warren's Profession, one of the most feminist plays written by a feminist man, George Bernard Shaw.
He's extraordinary.
And so I want to say kudos to you for actually being standing up on your day off.
Thank you. Well, I've had a lot of help, and I'm sitting down at the moment. So
exactly. And Cherry Jones, I mean, couldn't be better for your Broadway debut.
I'm so lucky. Actually, she's extraordinary. I've made a friend for life.
How has Broadway been for you?
A gift, and it's been magic. It's the best way to see New York. I never thought I'd end up here.
Right.
And I love it. Like you say, with Cherry Jones, that family, she just welcomed me with open, warm arms, embracing arms, and the rest of New York followed in kind. She's the queen. And
the queen of New York theater, and she's also played the president in a TV show.
She has. And it's a very good position for her.
Exactly.
Anyone should be the president, should be Cherry Jones.
So Rita O'Grady is one I call an accidental activist. The woman she was just kind of thrust into leadership. I mean, not all leaders are born. Well, boys are pretty much born leaders, and they get thrust into that, silver spoon in their mouth. But women pretty much have to, become leaders on their own.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about Rita.
Not much help. Well, like you said, I love the accidental activist. I think that should go on a T-shirt. And I think that is who she is. She's sort of thrust into this world. And having to learn on the hop, as it were, and it's a completely male-dominated world, having to hold her own in front of the management, which is all men, the trade unionists.
Yep.
She's not a politician.
Right.
She has no experience of speaking with political language. She's a very, up until that point, I don't think you can have such a thing as a normal working mum or housewife.
Right.
But she is a working mother of 2 and works extremely hard full time in Ford factory, and the women there realise that things aren't quite right, and she gets sort of thrust onto this stage, as it were, and the ripple effect of what she sets and the women set in motion has a worldwide knock-on effect.
So talk about the message of this movie. This week the Senate in the United States is going to vote for paycheck fairness, which is totally crazy, right?
It's
totally
fantastic.
crazy.
And weird synchronicity.
Totally awesome. And, women still don't have equal pay. What's up with that?
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's almost funny. Because and you read about it every single day in the newspapers. Right. And I don't... I mean, it's quite like the women that were in Dagenham and the way they spoke at the time and speak now, said it's quite simple. It's quite simple, and it still is quite simple. This is what we're owed, and we're equal, and I don't really understand why there should be such a problem still. But as long as people don't talk about what they're getting paid in the workplace, it will go on for a long, long time.
So true.
We just need to keep talking, and that's the only way you can move forward, really.
So I wrote a piece about how crazy it is that this film is rated R.
I didn't know that. I know that sounds silly, but I just learned that from Jenny.
I know. It's bizarre.
I didn't really realise what the
You can kill and mutilate women. You can kill and mutilate women and shoot everything up.
Exactly.
But you can be a PG-13. Exactly. But if you say the F word, it makes no sense. But you were also a 17 in England.
I know that sounds silly, but wasn't really aware. I've been here, so I'm not really aware of the rating.
I talked to Elizabeth about it, and I wrote a whole piece.
Did you?
Yeah, because
what
I think
did she say?
Because she gave me a great quote.
What did she say? Great.
Basically, it's I would like to take my daughter to see this movie.
Well, a lot of people have said to me exactly the same thing, and I thought that they could up until tonight.
I mean, they can, but they can't make that decision on their own.
Well, that's really silly.
But they can go see people shoot things.
Well, absolutely, like you say, get mutilated.
Yeah.
I mean, that is insane to me, and I didn't know what the R rating meant, and I sort of flew over to the premiere in UK and wasn't really aware of the posters because I've been here.
Right.
So wasn't aware of the 17. But so many people have come up to me and said, I can't wait for my daughter to see this film. And would it be all right for a younger child? I've been saying yes, of course.
Right, but having that R rating makes people pause.
Well,
and that's the problem, because they should not be pausing.
There should be no limitation on, like, you just want everyone to see. I mean, it isn't something we know about in our history. Right. And
talk about what this film could teach young women.
Oh, well, like you said so much. I mean, it's sort of, it's not the beginnings, because you can plot the beginnings all the way right. But I mean, who was right back to Sylvia Pankhurst or the Mary Wollstonecraft. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
You're the first person to mention Mary Wollstonecraft in an interview. Awesome.
She's amazing. She's amazing because I
Wollstonecraft. I even said her name wrong.
And I said her name wrong, but she's a mother of a very brilliant woman. But she wrote that extraordinary pamphlet, but there are, even before her. I mean, there are, it goes women way back when, the very first Eve. So I think that there are several women that we don't know about in history, doing some incredible things. Yep. Women in our own lives, our own mothers and grandmothers, fighting their fight in their own little corner and their own little way, and inspiring us. And when you see that on the screen, you think you can relate to real women having extraordinary effect on a worldwide scale and a worldwide stage. And that is extraordinary, inspiring. I know that when I see that, whether I read about those people or those women in the newspapers, it makes me want to get up and shout and fight and join them. And it's inspiring. That's why we're here.
Right.
And you just want what is owed to you.
So I'm doing this Women's Leadership Film Festival that I'm launching at Barnard College. And you know what movie we're showing? Desert Flower.
Are you? I was just thinking about that.
Desert Flower.
My God. Are you really?
It has been, it's a really moving movie.
Great.
So tell people a little bit about Desert Flower and,
Well, I don't think I probably could sum it up as well as I'm sure you will and can. But it's about female mutilation.
Right.
Of the genital mutilation, and about the extraordinary woman who is Waris Deary, and her journey from her very early beginnings and what she went through as a child, right back in Africa, and being mutated at the age of 6.
3, I think it was.
Was it 3?
3 or 4.
Yes, it was 3.
And what does the movie mean to you, though?
Well, it's an incredibly powerful story.
Yeah.
And it's very emotional for me. But you can't really be a woman and watch that film and not get affected by it.
Right.
But I don't think you can read about these women and not get affected by it, whether you're a man or a woman.
Right.
I mean, it's devastatingly sad, and it's still going on. And I was so honoured to be in this film, to be part of that story, and an important story, and for its existing in the world. And it didn't really. I'm just so glad that people like you are showing it.
Yes.
And it's still out there, and I think it's still got a long way to go.
It hasn't been released here yet. It's going to be released here this year, 2011.
I thought it sort of
disappeared.
Yeah, but that's really
it's
good.
kind of. They're going to try to release it in 2011, but it's going to be tough.
Well, you know, if I have anything to do with it, then I'd love to.
Well, so you come to our screening then.
That'd be an honor.
Okay.
And Sherry
Horman, yeah.
She's a wonderful
I'm
woman.
going to try to.
And
we're trying to get
meet her. She's great and brilliant. She's one of the sisters. She's
I'm going to try to get her. I'm going to shut this off now.